This is Access to Experts, where we interview business and professional experts and ask the questions you most want the answers to.
This is Access to Experts. I'm Jodina St. John. Our special guest today is Martin Howie. His company, Top Line Business Solutions, specializes in helping businesses improve their competitive positions, increase market share, and more importantly, add significant numbers to their bottom line profits. Martin is the author of 7 books and several audio and video training programs, and his more than 42 years of marketing and business development experience enables him to see hidden assets and areas of potential profits in a business that even well-seasoned business owners often overlook or miss altogether. Martin's impressive client list reads like a who's who in the corporate world and includes giants such as Coca-Cola, Black & Decker, Mobil Oil, Kellogg's, Nabisco, and AT&T, just to name a few. In addition, Martin has worked with small 1- and 2-person mom-and-pop shops and every size business in between. And the best part? Martin routinely generates profit increases of 300 to 400% for his clients, quite often in as little as 60 to 90 days. And nearly all of these increases are generated with systems or solutions that require either no cost or at the most very little additional capital or human resource expenditures. So with that introduction, Martin, it is so good to have you here today on Access to Experts.
Well, thank you, Jodine. It's very nice to be with you. I'm very honored that you asked me to be on your show.
I want to hear more about these systems that you can implement for little or no cost. But first, tell us just a little bit about your background and your experience and how you got into being a business consultant.
Well, I had a couple of businesses back in the 60s is when I really started. And there were 2 gyms up in the Long Beach area in California here. And we had some major competition come in. Jack LaLanne and his European Health Spas came in and really created havoc among the smaller gyms. And several of the gyms were starting to go out of business, and they were struggling. And so I learned how to market my business, even in the face of that extreme competition. And because in those days, and even today, nutrition is a very important part of fitness. So some of the supplement companies, vitamin and protein companies, were having struggles keeping their customers because the gyms were going out of business. Well, I learned how to use the supplements to keep my business afloat. And the supplement companies then hired me to go up and down the coast and teach business owners, teach these gym owners how to keep their businesses in business, keep their customers coming back and get new customers all the time. Well, when they found out how I was doing that, they then had me speak at some of the health food stores and to promote the products in the health food stores. And then somebody heard me speak one time and asked me to come and speak to one of their clubs. And then from there I was invited to speak to a company and then on to a corporation. And at that point, I just continued on and became a speaker, teaching people how to sell better, teaching companies how to get their salespeople to increase their sales, management techniques, and then marketing, how to market their products better.
What kind of businesses can benefit most from what you teach?
Well, you know, almost any kind of business can benefit from what we do. The ones I really enjoy working with are ones that have a high turnover or a quick turnover of products or something that can be differentiated from another type of business. Retail businesses are good. Service businesses are good as well. Any kind of professional services or those kinds of things that it's easy to differentiate them from the competition.
Tell us about some of the more common mistakes that businesses make in the areas of marketing.
Well, that's interesting. Most business owners, and they can't hold themselves accountable for this because they've never been taught some of the more important parts of running a business. A lot of times people go into business because they have a great idea. They think this idea is so good that the marketplace is going to buy it without doing any competitive research, without finding what the market really wants or needs, and without finding out who their competitors are. And unfortunately, too many businesses go upside down. They go broke because of that. So that's one of the most important things is doing your market research, finding out before you even launch a business, before you get too deep into it, is there a real market need for this? The other thing that's very important is how do we market this business? Let's say it really is a viable business that will go someplace in the marketplace. Well, the most important thing, as you mentioned, is trying to get new customers, getting people to come in and buy from you. So if you don't have an effective marketing plan, you can very easily go broke as well because you've got to have a new steady stream of customers. Most businesses lose between 18 and 20% of their customers due to attrition. They'll leave for a variety of reasons, and we go through that very deeply in our seminars and talk about how the businesses lose customers and what they can do to overcome that. But if a business just wants to grow 10% and they lose 18% of their customers this year, they've got to grow. They've got to get an additional 28% new customers just to have that 10% increase. Now, 28% of new customers is a lot of customers, especially if you don't have an effective marketing plan to generate those leads and convert them into paying customers.
So how do you help these businesses implement these marketing plans? How do you pull it all together for them?
Well, that's a really fun part, because what we really get to do is we get to go in and take a look at the market. What does the market really want from this kind of a business? Then how are the competitors or the people, the other businesses in that market serving those needs? And what we're going to find in most cases is a giant gap between what the customers want and what the businesses are providing for them. So whichever business fills that gap the best, then they're going to have a huge advantage in the marketplace. So that's the most important thing. Find out where the gap is, and then what the areas are that we can work with that business on. The next thing we do is we use a very detailed 40-page business audit to find out very specific things in that business that can be changed or improved on or eliminated or modified, capitalized on. So we're going to be looking at hidden opportunities, areas of assets and opportunities that are overlooked or not capitalized on. Once we find those things, now we have a roadmap on what we can do to improve that business.
Give us some examples, some companies that you've been able to help using this roadmap that you mentioned.
Well, as a matter of fact, we do. We put together a blueprint, an actual blueprint, and it shows exactly step by step what a business needs to do. So as an example, we have some businesses that are marketing. They have no idea where their marketing dollars are being spent, if they're working, what to do to improve them, because they have no way to track those kinds of things. So what we do is we go in and take a look at the marketing aspect of a business, for an example, and then we start to implement some effective lead generation programs that can attract more qualified and better leads. Then we put together some conversion processes to help convert those leads into actual buying customers. Another thing we're going to look at is how do we increase the transactional value of every sale? In other words, how do we get more money from that customer on an honest, legal, and ethical basis? The best time to get money out of a wallet, Jodina, is when the wallet's open. Now that means at the time of a sale, when somebody's already buying something. That's the easiest sale there is. How can we upsell that person to a little bit more product, what they're buying? How can we cross-sell them or sell them something additional that they weren't planning on buying? Or how can we put a package together to make it more advantageous to buy that package than just one product? McDonald's is very good at this. When you go into a McDonald's, one of the first questions they're going to ask is, would you like to supersize that? That's an upsell. That's not selling anything additional. That's selling more of the same thing they came in to buy. Another example would be, would you like fries with that? That's selling something additional they didn't come in to buy. Now, about 30% of the time, people will buy that upsell, that cross-sell, if you'll do that. Or putting together a package like a Happy Meal or something like that. We do that for businesses, and that will cause an instant income increase. We find that we can go into almost every business and within 20 minutes increase the bottom line profits of that business by 20% or more. In just 20 minutes, by implementing some very easy to monitor, easy to implement strategies.
Wow, 20%.
Almost any business.
Wow. Now, speaking of percentages and money, I mean, it's obvious you love what you do, but you do need to be compensated. How do you get paid?
Well, it's a great question. I'm glad you asked that. What we do is we charge a modest monthly retainer that covers all of the research that we do, which is extensive, all of the background on the competitors, on the market, on your company. Then we go into the 40-page business audit, which takes considerable time to go in and find out where the areas of missed opportunity are, all the hidden assets that you're not capitalizing on right now, to formulate all the strategies, the systems, and the solutions that we implement in your business, to develop an implementation plan, and to actually implement these things into your business so that they start to produce results. And then we come back and measure them and monitor them. So that's what that modest monthly retainer covers. Then in addition to that, we take a percentage of the increase that we generate for your business. So in other words, if you don't have an increase in revenues, then of course we don't get paid. Business owners absolutely love this. Now it's a small percentage, but it's a percentage nevertheless. So what that does is it forces us to work hard for your business to make sure that you get an increase in your business. So what really happens, Jodina, is when a business owner implements these strategies that we put together for them and they pay us, they're paying us out of newfound money. This is money they didn't have before we showed up on the scene, because we're getting paid on an increase in what they generate, and they really like this idea.
So it kind of creates a built-in guarantee.
Oh, absolutely. Sure.
Love it. Bottom line, what's your goal? What are you trying to help people achieve?
Well, what we really do is we determine how can we put the greatest amount of profits on the bottom line of that business in the shortest amount of time with the least amount of human effort, the lowest amount of capital invested, and the least amount of risk on the business owner's part. In other words, how can we quickly, easily, and cost-effectively put money in their pocket, put jingle in their jeans, help them improve the profits of their business?
Martin, this is great information, and I know many in our audience are going to want to get in touch with you. How can they do that?
Well, a couple of ways, Jodina. They can visit our website at toplinebusinesssolutions.com, or they can call our number at 480-969-1738.
Well, that sounds great. Thank you, Martin, so much for being with us today on Access to Experts.
Well, again, I'm honored that you had me on and very pleased. Thank you so much, Jodina.
I'm Jodina St. John. This is Access to Experts. Our special guest today, Martin Howie. His company, Topline Business Solutions, helping business owners add significant numbers to their bottom line profits. You can get Martin's free report by visiting his website at toplinebusinesssolutions.com.
This has been Access to Experts, where we interview business and professional experts and ask the questions you most want the answers to.